to the Insomniac Show with Nicolette and Brian. We'll get real deep with you, educating, inspiring, and solving problems with some of the most inspirational humans on the planet. Buckle up and come on the journey.
I'm excited. So, on the last episode of the Insomniac Show, you had your two wonderful guests, and we talked about mentality and mindset. And we wanted to pick up where we left off and chat a little bit about actual ways to change your mindset, right? Because, like you mentioned last week, mindset is everything, right? So what are some actual ways that you can change your mindset? And we came up with 7. Maybe we'll have more, but we came up with 7. And we are going to talk about those 7.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to kick us off with one? Or, I mean, because I have one that I think is super duper important.
Sure. Well, I think we need to talk though. We didn't decide what the difference fully was between mindset.
No, we didn't.
But we know what mindset is. I think we've determined that. And and so let's
recap that. So mindset, right? I have a quote that I like, but it's whatever. By Ellen Langer. It is not primarily our physical selves that limit us, but rather our mindset about our physical limits. So that's back to what you were saying, last week when we were talking about math problems, right? I can't do it. Or the Wright brothers, right? I can't do it.
Right.
Physically you can't fly, but your mindset was, yeah, I can actually do that. And so, hence we have the airplane. So just to reiterate what a mindset is by definition, it is the established set of attitudes held by someone. That is one definition. So another way to look at it is like a set of beliefs, right? We talked about set of beliefs by a group. You can say like the mindset of the group or mob, I was going to say mob mentality, but that's really mentality. So there I am interchanging again. That goes to show you we really don't know the difference. So
yeah.
But we do know that your mindset will affect certain all aspects of your life, right? In terms of success, and so it's important to get into a correct mindset. And sometimes that mindset is developed over time, right? And we talked about that before. It could be a lifetime to develop a mindset. I mean, how do you go back?
Well, and I think to the point you first started with, we have a few things you can do, and everyone's different. I think different things work for different people to change their mindset. So, and I think that's really one of the things, everyone needs to consider, like, what's the things that actually really work for them to help them get in a good mindset? Because you can't constantly be in this mindset of like, everything is great, or in the super positive mindset. Like, it's just impossible. We filter through these different types of, being, so sometimes we're in this really positive place and sometimes we're not. But how do you change that? How do you get yourself back is what we're really talking about. Mm-hmm. So Nicola, why don't you kick us off with the first one?
And the first one is, it's going to suck a little bit, because I think that it's almost like a measure as well, because I think that it's very, there's no quick fix, right? There's no quick fix. Like, I'm going to go take a walk and my mindset's automatically going to change. Well, maybe you'll feel better, right? But I mean, it's going to take consistency, which brings us to number 1, which is constant maintenance, right? So that's constantly evaluating where you're at, looking inward and thinking, I don't want to overthink, right? But thinking about how do you feel, taking a personal inventory for a second. Am I not taking care of me? What's going on in the world around me? Just constantly maintaining, doing the things that make you feel good and that are good for you. It's constant maintenance, right? So you just say, I'm in a great mindset and I'm going to stay that way, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. You constantly have to check yourself, right?
Yeah. And I think another one is defining your goals or your focus. You need to have really clear focus on the things you want to accomplish. And and what do we talk about all the time? Like, work towards those goals. They're not instant. They're not going to happen instantly a lot of times, like the really important ones don't happen overnight. So you got to work towards those things. And, what do we always talk about, Nicolette? Doing a little bit towards the goal, always working towards improving your situation, and think about it like, if you were in the woods in survival, you always have to work at improving your situation, even if it's small things. And that keeps you in the right mindset, because each step, you start building a different confidence.
Keep your focus and don't get distracted, right? Just stay focused on the goal. Know why you're doing what you're doing to keep you in the right mindset. And maybe it's mindset for achieving accomplishing something, a tournament or whatever. Remember what your focus is.
Right. And it could be small. It could be something that's only important to you. It doesn't really matter. If that is your goal, you go and you focus on accomplishing it. And regardless of what other people think, you keep going.
Yeah. Another thing, number 3, work on your mentality, right? And I think how I interpret this, since obviously we don't know the difference between mindset and mentality, is how I interpret this is exposing yourself to a lot of different ideas, because differing opinions, things that you going places you've never been, being around people you've never met, different groups of people, and that kind of expands your views, which can help with your mentality and right, and as a result help with your mindset.
And I know this is one of your favorites, Nicolette. Follow the evidence. And the way I view it, I know Nicolette has her own take on it, but I view it as, successes breed that confidence for some people. So as you have small successes, you build on that and you become more and more confident in whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter what it is, but those small successes breed your mindset in confidence that you can accomplish something. I know Nicolette, has some more details on that.
Yeah, I but totally, your own evidence in your own self, in your own life, like, oh crap, I accomplished that before. Maybe I could do that again, right? But then also looking at the evidence in other people's lives, because sometimes we don't feel, especially when you're just trying to change your mindset, or you maybe you're in a bad place, mindset. It's hard to kind of even look at yourself and say, oh, I've done something good before, right? Sometimes you're just not feeling it. So it's a lot easier sometimes to look at other people and see what's worked for them, right? So, okay, this worked for someone. Where are they? Like, what's their state of mind like, right? What's their mindset like? And talk to other people. Like what are you thinking? What was your frame of mind? How did this work for you? So that you can then apply it to your life and be like, okay, well, if that person can do it, maybe I can do it. And especially helps if you admire or,
not maybe you could do it. Not maybe you could do it. You will do it. You can do it. So.
Well, I think that, I think it all starts with a maybe, because gaining that hope, opening the window. Because if you can open that window for maybe, then you've got space to go, okay, I can do this, right?
Absolutely.
So what's the next one?
Be realistic. Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, you talk about that one a lot.
Yeah, people have a tendency to not be realistic in, first of all, their skill set or where they are, what they can accomplish, right? And then they beat themselves up for whatever that is, and they start feeling they're not worthy, or whatever the case is, where you beat yourself up. Look, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. It's all trial and error. This whole life is trial and error, and basically you can't beat yourself up for things,
And then they break, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to figure out how to, and when you do, you figure out how to fix it, or whatever the case is, how to make it right. So be realistic though about the outcomes. Some people just have really unrealistic expectations. Like, we look at people that are like, I want to be whatever, a famous YouTuber, or pick a thing, but they don't want to put the work in. They don't realize it's hundreds of hours of making videos every week, or whatever the case is. They just want instant fame, because they see those one or two examples where people just made one video and they became super famous, or they got 100 million TikTok followers in 3 days, but that's not most people. Most people are working at the skill set.
And number 6 is avoid the vampires. I like this one because it really can have an effect on your mindset when you are constantly surrounded by negative humans that suck the life out of you. And that's why we like to call them vampires, right? They suck the life out of you, suck the positive out of you.
And if you watch the previous episode, we talked about the White brothers and all the doubters of them and people who didn't believe they could accomplish flight. Those were the negative voices, but they didn't listen to them. They didn't let those vampires suck their thoughts out and suck their ideas out. They believed in themselves. And and I know this is hard to for people to swallow. Sometimes the people that are most negative in your life are the people closest to you. So there is a reason why people say weed your garden, because sometimes you need to remove all the negative forces, no matter how close they are to you, because if you want to accomplish something, they're just going to hold you back, with their negative attitude, especially if you let it get in your mind. So,
or create boundaries, and we could have a whole other conversation.
Right? Yeah, that's a whole other.
The Wright brothers just probably didn't want to talk to their mom about their airplane business.
Yeah.
They just let's just not talk to her about the airplane. You can talk to her about anything else.
Right, I'm not saying just shut everyone out of your life who's negative. No, that's not. Oh, it's sort of sad. I guess I did say that, but that's not what I meant. Basically, to Nicolette's point, you're going to have to create boundaries, and regardless, maybe you don't have those conversations with them anymore. I don't know.
Imagine the Wright brothers.
I'm done.
They're like coming over for Sunday dinner, and mom's like, "How's work going?" "Oh, it's good," and that's it. That's the end of that conversation.
Right? Didn't crash today. Got to put all the ground.
No, you couldn't even say it, or else it'll open up a whole slew of negativity. I told you that would never work.
Mm-hmm. And number 7. Just keep going. Self-belief. It is amazing how many people accomplish things who don't necessarily have the greatest skill set because they have this undying belief in themselves that they can accomplish whatever it is they've set their mind to.
All right, guys. So that is those are our 7. I mean, maybe you have more. Maybe you want to tell us, what you do to get into a good mindset, right? Let us know. But those are pretty practical, and unfortunately, they're not quick fixes. There is no pill that you can take to change your mindset, so it requires some work.